Hello everyone, welcome back to Desi BDS Tutor. So today we are going to discuss the dental casting alloys, the Department of Conservative Dentistry and Endodontics. So dental casting alloys includes content, introduction, history, classification, ideal properties, type, noble metal, metal ceramic alloys, function of each component, casting shrinkage for gold, hardening, heat treatment, greening of alloy. So let's get started. So first of all, dental casting alloys a metal represent one of the major classes of material used in dentistry for reconstruction of damaged or missing tooth tissue, other being polymer or ceramic. So metal is primarily used during the age of 90s. So now currently we use metal ceramic or dental casting alloys. So the combined properties of strength, wear resistance, biocompatibility and longevity. So but still no metallic tissue colored restorations are preferred as they have evolved other the years of over the years of produced properties comparable to the metal alloys. Glossary of prosthodontic terms. An alloy is a mixture of two or more metals or metalloids that are mutually soluble in each other in molten state. This solubility is defined by the term phase, which is a state of matter that is distinct in some manner from matter around. Solid single homogeneous phase or multiphase alloy. So the phases of according to prosthodontics, the phases of metal is solid single homogeneous phase or multiphases. Phases influences the strength of cohesion, biocompatibility and other properties of dental alloy. Classification of alloys. It can be classified in 5 ways: number of elements, major constituents, presence of 3 principal elements, nobility of alloy, noble metal present, dominant phases. So first of all, depending on the number of element present, that is binary, tertiary, quaternary and so on. As the number of element increases, the complexity and thus properties changes of metal. Depending on major constituent in alloy, such as a good gold based, platinum based or nickel based. Depending on presence of 3 principal elements such as you can see this palladium, argon, selenium and nickel chromium, cobalt chromium. The most commonly used material is nickel chromium. Depending upon the nobility of alloy, that is content of noble metal present, they can be high noble or predominantly metal based, that is base metal alloy. Depending upon dominant phase system present in alloy, eutectic, peritectic and intermetallic. So the history of metal in dentistry. Chronological list of events. So in development of casting alloys start from 2500 years back. For 2500 years back, the gold is the oldest known metal used in dentistry, and currently we use all ceramic, that is zirconia as we called in today's era, that is developed in 1980. All ceramic concept and technologies were introduced in 1980. In 1971, base metal, that is nickel, is introduced as economical alternative of gold, which is very high resistance and which is a very high properties for the replacement through the cast alloy. So the ideal properties for dental casting alloy, it should be biocompatibility. The alloy should not react with oral fluids and release any harmful product in oral environment. And secondly, it is resistant to tarnish. Tarnish is a thin film of surface deposit or interaction layer that is adherent to the metal surface. Tarnish is usually on silver alloy and gold alloy with higher silver contents. The third one is the resistance to corrosion. Corrosion may lead to the catastrophic failure. Oxidizes component may discolor natural teeth, porcelain veneers, and soft tissues. The corrosion also contribute to galvanic shock due to electrons released during the corrosion. So the release of metallic component may cause metallic taste in mouth. The presence of noble metal in alloy increases resistance to the this is incomplete. So yes, release metal component may cause metallic taste in mouth. The presence of noble metal in alloy increases resistance to the corrosion. And now the non-allergicness. Although toxin materials are eliminated from the alloy, however, some individuals exhibit allergic reaction to some components. Since these allergic reactions are peculiar to the individual patient, the dentist should have to record of the all component of alloy that is being used and should inform the patient accordingly. The gold alloy being noble exhibit less allergic reaction in mouth. So remember, the gold alloy being a noble metal that is not able to react with any other substance, so it has a less allergic reactions. So the modulus of elasticity is the component of properties for base metal alloys. The modulus of the modulus of elasticity metal coping should have a higher modulus of elasticity as to withstand higher occlusal forces in stress bearing areas without fracture or deformity. This is most commonly needs for the posterior teeth, in which we have a higher occlusal forces during the mastication or during the vocal speeching or some other masticatory needs. So the thermal property is also the property for noble metal or metal ceramic or dental casting alloys. So for metal ceramic restoration, the alloy or a metal must have a similar coefficient of thermal expansion to be compatible with all the ceramic, to as the withstand tolerate high firing temperature during ceramic buildups. Liquids and solids temperature. It is the important factor for successful casting. Liquids is the lowest temperature at which alloy is completely liquid, or solidus is the highest temperature at which alloy is completely solid. The melting of alloy starts at solidus temperature and completed at liquidus temperature. Alloy with lower or solidus temperature is preferred as low shrinkage occur during cooling. So as you can see in the diagram, melting point in relation to the coefficient. So the solidus state, which is higher temperature at which alloy is completely solid, or liquidus state is where the lowest temperature at which alloy is completely liquid. So now let's discuss the hardness. Hardness of an alloy should be sufficient enough to resist wear by opposing tooth or restoration. At same time, it would not be enough to cause wearing of opposing enamel. VNH of enamel is VNH, that is a value of hardness in enamel is 343 gram per kilogram per mm square. So the hardness of alloy should not be less than 125 kg per mm square or greater than 343 kg per mm square. Ease of fabrication. Material should be easily manipulated and procedure of fabrication should not be complicated and lengthy. Castability. So now castability is to achieve the accurate details in cast frame or prosthesis, and a molten metal must able to wet or can able to invest mold material well, so the flow into the most intricate region of mold without any appreciable interaction with the investment material and without forming the porosity within the surface or subsurface region. So the finishing of casting metal. Some metals are hard, hence enough to more difficult to finish and polish. Some noble metal alloy are more ductile and malleable, hence care should be taken during the finishing of casting. The hardness of an alloy is a good indicator of difficulty in grinding and finishing of alloy. The bonding of ceramics. Bonding with the metal is very difficult task. The alloy used in metal ceramic restoration should be able to form a thin adherent layer of oxide onto the surface of enable proper bonding with ceramic. The alloy must have the coefficient of thermal expansion contraction closely matching to that ceramic so as to create a compressive stress to enhance the fracture resistance of ceramic. Now let's get discuss the composition of dental casting alloy. Dental casting alloy is made of metal and ceramic. The various metallic elements are combined in different portions to produce alloy with adequate properties of dental application. These are broadly divided into two: noble metal or base metal. Noble metal like gold, palladium, platinum, rhodium, iridium, osmium, ruthenium. Gold metal surface characterized by lack of chemical interaction with atmosphere, thus resistant to tarnish or corrosion, but reactive to sulfur group to form sulfide. According to ADA specification of dental alloy is termed to be noble if 25% noble metal content. Base metal, these have a lower quality, readily oxidizes or corrodes: silver, copper, zinc, indium, tin, gallium and nickel. So the noble metal alloy ADA according to American Dental Association specification number 5, 25% noble metal should be present and no noble metal should be present. Most common being gold alloy, K or carat, 1 by 24th part of whole metal fineness, number of parts of gold in 1000 parts of alloy. Always remember, the number of parts of gold in 1000 parts of alloy is equals to the 1/24th part of whole metal fineness. Now the classification: all noble metal alloy have either gold or platinum as principal metal by weight percentage given by ADA in 1984. The alloy type by nobility category: high noble NH, high noble containing is greater than the 60% weight of noble metal, like AU category 2 and category 3. Predominantly category 3 is predominantly based metal, like palladium alloy contains less 25% weight of noble metal. Based on most common metal, based on presence of major or most common metal in alloys such as gold based, palladium based, cobalt based, nickel based or titanium based. If alloy contains 75% gold, gold based noble metal alloys. If contains 60% nickel, nickel based noble metal alloys. So the classification by Bureau of Standard 1927: alloy can be classified based on their composition, their use and the amount of stress being subjected. Type 1 soft, low strength; type 2 medium strength; type 3 hard strength. Type 4 extra hard very high strength based on three principal element presence of three element in alloy, that is as you can know, cobalt chromium or nickel chromium is most common. Based on dominant phase present, depending on the dominant phase, alloy can be classified as single phase, eutectic phase, periodic phase, intermetallic phase. So the type 1 is high noble, type 2 is gold alloy, type 3 noble metal with gold alloy, type 4 noble metal gold alloy used very high stress crown long sorry type 1 is high noble gold alloys, weak soft and highly ductile, used for low occlusal stress areas, simple inlays formation for class 1, class 3 and class 5 cavities, used very rarely. So the type 2 is the high strength and hardness, less ductile and thus difficult to burnish, less yellow in color, less amount of gold than type 1, conventional inlay only subjected to moderate stress, 3/4 crown pontic full crowns, and type 3 is fabrication of inlay subjected to the high stress crown and bridges. Alloy are age hardened alloy, higher strength with less burnishability. Type 4 is a novel gold alloy which is used very high stress crown, long bridges and partial dentures, lowest gold content and highest silver content, low ductility and high strength. So the composition of noble dental casting alloy, properties of noble casting alloys are different as you can see in this picture. So let's continue with the metal ceramic or porcelain bonding, high noble metal alloy, more than 75% noble metal content and gold more than 40%. So the first casting alloy for metal ceramic restoration with highest content of 81 to 87%. The noble alloy less than 40% gold and other noble metal in higher concentration. Alloy for all metal restoration. These alloy were among the earliest alloy available in dentistry. The early alloy were mostly gold alloy since they were intended for the basic metallic and later for resin veneers restoration. They just have to meet basic requirement. No special requirement are needed for the veneer with resin. Currently the use of these alloy are slowly declined because of increased aesthetic awareness had reduced the trend of metal display. Increased popularity of ceramic and metal ceramic restoration, reducing the popularity of resin and composite as veneering material. Resin facing have a number of disadvantages. They were rapidly color instability and stain absorptions. Types. These alloy were discussed under the following categories. Dental casting alloys are types of high noble gold alloys, noble silver palladium alloys, base metal cobalt chromium. These are cobalt chromium are most commonly used, or nickel chromium is most common nowadays. So the titanium and its alloys and aluminium bronze alloys. Functions of each element in gold alloy. Gold provide tarnish, corrosion resistance as a desirable appearance, also provide ductility and malleability. So the copper is a principal hardener. It reduces the melting point and density of the gold. If present in sufficient quantity, it gives the alloy a reddish color. It also helps to age harden gold alloy in greater amount. It reduces resistance to the tarnish and corrosion of gold alloys. Therefore, the maximum content should not exceed with 16%. Now silver, it is the whitens the alloy, thus helping the counteract the reddish color of copper. It increases the strength and hardness slightly in large amount, however it reduces the tarnish resistance. In platinum is used in the dental casting alloy. It increases the strength and corrosion resistance, also help in increasing the melting point and has a whitening effect on the alloy. It helps to reduce the grain size. Now the palladium is similar to the platinum in its effect. It hardens and whitens the alloy. It also raises the fusion temperature and provide tarnish resistance. It is less expensive than platinum and thus reducing the cost of alloy. The minor addition of zinc, it acts as a scavenger of oxygen. Without zinc, the silver in alloy causes the absorption of oxygen during melting. Later, during the solidification, oxygen is rejected, producing gas porosities in casting. Iridium, tin, iron, they help in harden the ceramic. Gold, palladium, alloy iron being the most effective. So the calcium is added to the compensate the decreased CTE that result when alloy is made silver free. Calcium tarnish effect. Iridium, ruthenium and rhenium, they help in decrease the grain size. They are added in small quantities. Note, all modern noble metal alloys are fine grained. Smaller the grain size of metal, the more ductile and stronger it is. It also produces more homogeneous casting and improves the tarnish resistance. The large grain size reduces the strength and increases the brittleness of metal. Factor controlling the grain size and the rate of cooling, shape of mold and composition of the alloy. So the properties of gold alloys, that is color. Traditionally the gold alloy were gold colored and the color of modern gold alloy can be vary from gold to white depends on the amount of whiteness element, silver, platinum, palladium, etc. present in the alloy. Melting range start from the 920 to 960 degree. The melting range of an alloy is an important to indicate the type of investment required and the type of heating source needed to the melt of alloy. So the density, it is gives to the indication of number of dental casting that can be made from a unit weight of metal. And other words, more number of cast restoration per unit weight can be made from alloy having the lower density and then one having the higher density. Gold alloys are lighter than pure gold. So remember, the gold alloys are always lighter than the pure gold. So the hardness indicate the ease of which alloys can cut, ground and polish. Gold alloy are generally more friendly than base metal alloy which are extremely hard. Elongation, it indicates the ductility of the alloy, reasonable amount of required for, especially if a alloy is being deformed during the clinical use. Example, clasp adjustment for removal, partial denture, margin adjustment and burnishing of crown inlays. Modulus of elasticity, it indicates the stiffness, flexibility of metal. Gold metal are more flexible than base metal alloys. Tarnish and corrosion resistance, gold alloys are resistant to tarnish and corrosion. This is due to their high noble metal content and noble metals are less reactive. So the biocompatibility, gold alloys are relatively biocompatible. The casting investment, gypsum bonded investment are used for the gold alloys because of their lower fusion temperature. The casting shrinkage, all alloys shrink when they change from liquid to solid. When they change from liquid to solid, the casting alloy shrinkage may happen. The casting shrinkage in gold alloy is less 1.25 to 1.65% when compared to the base metal alloys. The shrinkage occurs in three stages: thermal contraction of liquid metal, contraction of metal by changing from liquid to solid state, thermal contraction of solid metal as it reaches from room temperature. Shrinkage affects the fit of restoration, therefore it must be controlled and compensated for the casting technique. So the heat treatment of gold alloy, heat treatment of alloys is done in order to alter the mechanical properties. Gold alloy can be heated treated if it contains sufficient amount of copper. So the softening heat treatment increases the ductility but reduces the strength and portion of limit and hardness. So the indication, it is indicated for application that are to be ground shaped or otherwise cold worked in or outside the mouth. So the method is casting is placed in an electric furnace for 10 minutes at 700 degrees Celsius, then is quenched in water. During this period, all intermediate phases are changed to disorder solid state, solid solution, and the rapid quenching prevents ordering from occurring during cooling. Each alloy has a optimum temperature. So the hardening heat treatment or aging, that is a very important question as per the academic or your theoretical part. The hardening heat treatment or aging, hardening heat treatment increases the strength, proportional limit and hardness but decreases the ductility. It is a copper present in gold alloy which helps in the age hardening process. So the indication for strengthening metallic dentures, saddles, bridges and other similar structures. Before use in mouth, it is not employed for smaller structures such as inlays. It is done by soaking or aging the casting at specific temperature for the definite time, usually 15 to 30 minutes. It is when water quenched or cooled slowly. The age temperature depends on the alloy composition but is generally between 200 degrees Celsius to 450 degrees Celsius. During this period, the intermediate phases are changed into an ordered solid solution. The proper time and temperature for age hardening an alloy is specified by the manufacturer. The ideal before age hardening an alloy, it should be first to be subjected softening heat treatment in order to relieve all strain hardening stresses which occur during the finishing. Start with the hardening treatment when the alloy in order to disorder the solution, allow better control to the aging process. The silver palladium alloys, these alloys were introduced as cheaper alternative to the gold alloys. It is predominantly silver in composition. Palladium at least 25% is added to provide nobility and resistant to the tarnish. They may or may not contain copper or gold. They are white in color. Properties of silver palladium alloy are similar to the gold alloy. However, they have a lower ductility and corrosion resistance. They also have the significantly lower density than gold alloys. They may affect the castability. So silver palladium alloys may affect the castability of ceramic or dental casting alloys. So the most commonly used nowadays nickel chromium and cobalt chromium alloys. These are the known as the base metal alloys or extensively used in many of the developing countries. In India, because of their relatively low cost, as you all know, the nickel chromium is the economical and they have the very strong and hard metal, and because of this they are generally difficult to work with cutting, grinding and polishing. Titanium and titanium alloys, these metals can be used for all metal and metal ceramic restoration as well as partial dentures. Aluminium bronze alloy, bronze is alloy known to man since ancient time. Traditionally, bronze is copper alloy with tin. The composition is as follows: copper 81 to 88%, aluminium 8 to 10%, nickel 2 to 4%, iron 1 to 4%. Being relatively new, the information of these alloys is relatively scanty. So the metal ceramic alloy are those alloy that are compatible with porcelain are capable of bonding to it. So these are the metal alloys and this is metal ceramic, and these are the ceramic, or we can nowadays call them zirconium crowns. So this is a bridge of teeth, and this is also a bridge in which more than single tooth is including, or more than two tooth, so it is called as dental bridge. So the metal ceramic bridge is made up from the different materials. Nowadays metal ceramic crowns are most commonly used, because they are quality and they are very economical. A layer of porcelain is fused to the alloy to give a natural tooth-like appearance. Porcelain, being a brittle material, fractures easily, so these alloys are used to reinforce the porcelain. Several types of alloys are used to cast substrate and substructures for porcelain fused materials and metal crowns and bridges. They may be noble metal alloy or base metal alloy. All have coefficient of thermal expansion values which matches the porcelain. Note, the coefficient of thermal expansion has a reciprocal relationship with the metallic point, that is, higher the melting point of metal, lower its coefficient of expansion. So they are inversely proportional. The higher the melting point of metal, lower will be the coefficient of thermal expansion. So now we have to greening. What is greening? Majorly used in metal ceramic crowns. Greening is due to discoloration of porcelain in present in silver alloys. This occurred during firing silver atoms from the silver atoms from the walls of furnace enter to the body of porcelain or get diffused through the glazed surface around the margin, giving the discolored effect. This discoloration can be green, yellow, or orange to brown discoloration. This contamination occurs in silver fili alloys as well. So, how to prevent greening? Prevention used by the graphite block inhibit formation of silver oxide. Pure gold fired on the alloy surface, reducing the available in the surface of vaporization. Ceramic conditioner act as the barrier between alloy and porcelain. Ultra low fusing porcelain or greening resistance porcelain. So thank you. This is about the dental casting alloy or metal ceramic crowns, how they were fabricated. So if you like the lecture video, subscribe to our Desi BDS tutor channel, and I hope you will understand the topic. If you have any query, so comment down, so we will reply you as soon as possible. So thanks again.